Drug proving part 2. In the first part, we had already seen about the historical perspective, the definition of drug proving, the prerequisitions of drug proving, objects and selection of prover. In selection of prover, we had seen the advantages and disadvantages while you are proving the drug on animals, on human beings, etc. etc. Now, in this lecture, we are going to finish the remaining topic. Now, who is he? He is Albrecht von Haller. Haller, a well known physician, botanist, poet, and also novelist, was the first known person beside Hahnemann who felt the need of testing medicines for their purity and their peculiar effect on the human being. Then, about the method of preparation of drugs for proving. Hello dear students, welcome you all in the world of homeopathic pharmacy. My name is Dr. Bhakti Khisti and this is our second lecture of the drug proving. But before proceeding, I want to tell you, clarify some points. Okay, the first thing, these YouTube channels are specifically for the UG students, because for PG the homeopathic pharmacy is very vast and it is not possible for me to cover each and every topic on YouTube. Okay, so this is specifically for the UG students. Second thing, please don't depend on the lectures on YouTube completely. Go through your books, go through your regular lectures in college, okay, and then you can follow these lectures. Third one, some students are asking for explaining in the Hindi language, okay, but if I explain in Hindi, the word meaning got changed and students write the wrong things. Okay, that's why I'm trying to explain you in very simple language but not using Hindi. Okay, but if I felt that some portion is quite hard, then I will definitely going to explain in Hindi, but try to maintain the proper pharmacy language. Okay, these are basic things which I want to tell you before proceeding to the lecture. Okay, so now I am proceeding to lecture. Please note that in the second part of drug proving, I am mentioning the aphorism number. It is very important to remember the aphorism numbers also. So let's go. The method of preparation of drugs for proving. The first one is indigenous plants. Indigenous plants means native plants. Okay, when plants grows at specific area in a huge amount, that area is native for that plant. Okay, when rice cultivated at specific area, whether the water get available in huge amount, that area is particularly for the rice. Okay, it is native of rice. Just like that, the specific plant grows at specific weather in specific soil, so that soil, that portion is native for that plant. Apple grows in Shimla, Kulu Manali. Okay, so the native of apple is Shimla, Kulu Manali, those areas. Okay, you are getting me, the indigenous plant, native plants. They should be administered in the form of the freshly expressed juice mixed with a little alcohol to prevent its spoiling. Okay, you have to use the indigenous plant fresh extracted juice. Okay, I am telling you about the method of preparation of drugs for proving. Okay, while you are proving any medicine, if that drug is native, then use is its freshly expressed juice. Okay, if the vegetable is exotic or foreign, those substance form of in the form of powder or tincture with alcohol, when they were in the fresh state, and afterwards mixed with a certain portion of water. Okay, while you are taking the exotic or foreign vegetable for the proving of drug, take its powdered form or its tincture. Then about the salt and gums. Salt and gums, however, should be dissolved in water just before being taken. Okay, you must dissolve it in water before, just few minutes before taking. Then about the dry and weak medicinal substance. Dry plants available only in the dry state are cut into small pieces, and an infuse is made by pouring boiling water on it and are swallowed while it is still warm. Okay, dry and weak medicinal substance, cut the substance, pour a boiling water on it and take it when it is quite warm. The next thing here, I explain you about the indigenous plants, exotic plants, salt and gum, dry and weak medicinal substances. Next is dose and mode of administration. Here specifically I am mentioning about mention about the aphorism number. Okay, so first one is the strong medicine. It is given in aphorism number 121. A strong heroic medicines are liable even in a small doses to produce changes in the healthy even of the robust person. So here the first one is, what is heroic? Heroic means the substance who is having some special characteristics in it. Okay, some special characteristic in it, it is called as a heroic. And robust means what? A person who is already strong, who is already healthy, his immunity power is very good. So if you are giving some strong medicine to the prover, it can produce some changes in that person if the person is already strong or already healthy, but the proper word is robust. Okay, so about strong medicine, it is a strong heroic medicine. Heroic means having some specific characteristics, are liable even in a small doses to produce changes in the healthy even of robust person. Okay, you have to write over here heroic and the robust. Please don't write like characteristic, please don't write strong and healthy person, you should write the robust. Next one is milder medicine. It is given in aphorism number 121. The medicines having milder power must be given in more considerable quantities. The medicine whose power is mild, okay, you can prescribe more considerable quantities. Okay, you can prescribe 3 to 4 doses in a one day. Okay, you can give it in more quantity. Okay, next one is weakest medicine. It is also given in aphorism number 121. The weakest medicines should be proved on healthy, delicate, irritable, sensitive person. Those are free from disease and are given in much larger quantity. Okay, so you can prescribe weakest medicine in a large quantity. Next one is mode of administration. It is given in aphorism number 128. The potentized medicine should be given to the prover on an empty stomach daily from 4 to 6 globule of the 30 potency, moistened with little water for several days. Okay, mode of administration, you should prescribe the potentized medicine in the empty stomach. Okay, you can prescribe 4 to 6 globules in empty stomach. Okay, it is given in mode of administration in aphorism number 128. Now here one small subtopic is here, that only potentized medicine should be employed for proving purpose. Why we can prescribe the only potentized medicine to prove that drug. While proving we have to use only potentized medicine. जिस ड्रग को हमें प्रूव करना है उस ड्रग का मदर टिंचर नहीं लेना है, डाइल्यूशन नहीं लेना है, हमको पोटेंटाइज मेडिसिन लेना है. क्यों? फर्स्ट वन, the most recent and advanced observation show that the crude drug substance when administered for proving does not give idea about the full amount of signs and symptoms. Okay, if you are prescribing a crude drug, it doesn't shows all symptoms. It doesn't give you the all symptom summary. It does not give idea about the full amount of signs and symptoms. It does not cover all signs and symptoms. Many of the properties of the drug remain in the hidden form. Okay, so some symptoms are hidden. Hidden means छुप जाना. काफ़ी सारे जो symptoms हैं वो छुपे रह जाते हैं अगर आप पोटेंटाइज मेडिसिन नहीं देते हो. Next one, the potentization brings medicine to dynamic plane so that it can act on dynamic vital force. Only potentized medicine can act on dynamic vital force. Next one, only potentized medicine when applied upon the healthy organism produced a generic symptoms. Generic means common dynamic symptoms. Okay, common symptoms. Okay, it is called as the generic symptoms which can be produced only by administering the potentized medicine. This is all about the mode of administration and why we are prescribing only potentized medicine. Okay, potentized medicine can cover all the signs and symptoms. Potentized medicine can act on the vital force. And next one, the potentized medicine can able to produce the generic symptoms, or we can call it as a common dynamic symptoms. Okay, next one, fifth point, more medicine in indistinct. Okay, indistinct, it is given in aphorism number 129. If the effect of dose are slight, a few more globule may be taken daily until they become more distinct, stronger, and the alterations of the health become more conspicuous. Okay, so medicine if indistinct means for the desirable effect in patient you can prescribe the more doses. Okay, जो एक्शन आपको चाहिए पेशेंट से, आपको जो सिम्टम्स चाहिए उसके लिए आप जो है मेडिसिन का जो डोज है वो बढ़ा सकते हैं. ओके, यू कैन प्रिस्क्राइब द मेडिसिन इन more quantity to get the desirable signs, symptoms or effect of that drug. Okay, it is given in indistinct aphorism number 129. Okay, so here I explain you about the strong medicine, milder medicine, weakest medicine, mode of administration and administration of potentized medicine only. Okay, and why. Then more medicine if indistinct. Okay, next, recording of symptom. Now recording of symptom is also very important. Sometime in examination it will ask for 5 mark short note also. Okay, so recording of symptom, please try to remember all the aphorism number. Symptoms to be recorded during proving. First one is except narcotic. Okay, now what do you mean by the narcotic? Narcotic are the drugs which can be produce the dullness in the senses in a small doses. If you are prescribing a narcotic medicine in a small dose, it can produce the dullness of the senses. Okay, it is called as the it means narcotic. So except narcotic, narcotics means other than narcotics. The symptom produced by primary action of all medicine are recorded except narcotics. Okay, next one is narcotic substances. When you are prescribing the narcotic substances, In case of narcotic substances, symptoms of secondary action are to be recorded. In first one, except narcotic, we are recorded the primary action. In the second thing, the narcotic substances, we can record the secondary action. Third one, alternating action, which are produced by some medicines, are also to be noted. Then next one is the modalities. In order to determine the exact character of symptom, the modalities are recorded. Now what you mean by the modalities? The aggravation and amelioration of a specific drug. Okay, now what do you mean by the aggravation? The slight intensification means aggravation, and decrease of symptom in relation to the time means the amelioration. Okay, जो तकलीफ है वो जितनी है उससे बढ़ जाना, इट इज़ कॉल्ड एज एग्रेवेशन, और जो तकलीफ है वो कम हो जाना उसे कहते हैं एमुलरेशन. ओके, सो द पेशेंट टोल्ड यू दैट आई एम हैविंग सिवियर हेडेक इन द मॉर्निंग एंड इफ I am bandaging my head tightly, then it got relieved. So it is the amelioration. When he is bandaging his head tightly, then it gives it relief to the symptoms. So it is the amelioration. And aggravation, suddenly when he wake up in the morning. Okay, as he wake up in the morning, the headache starts. So the aggravation is early morning after awake. Okay, and amelioration when bandaging the head tightly. Okay, so these are the modalities, aggravation and amelioration. Next one is any alteration from the normal health should be recorded, and it is given in aphorism number 138. Now next is proving on a sick person. It is given in aphorism number 142. Symptoms which during the course of disease might have been observed or never before, consequently new ones belonging to the medicine. Now proving on the sick person. While you are proving the medicine on sick person, what happened? Sometimes you got a group of new symptoms which is not observed before. Okay, so proving on sick person, it is given in aphorism number 142, that if you are proving the drug on sick person, you got a group of symptom which never observed before. Okay, so this is all about the recording of the symptoms. Next one, again recording of symptoms. How to note the symptoms? See, how to note the symptoms means, if the prover is literate means educated. Okay, if it is illiterate, it is non-educated. And third one is physician is a prover. When physician prove any drug on himself, what happened? Now recording of symptom, first one is literate prover. It is given in aphorism number 139. If the prover is educated, if the prover is literate, what happened? He must note down distinctly the sensations, suffering, the accidents and changes of health he experiences at a time after the ingestion of drug. Okay, he can able to judge what happening with him, his minor sensation, the changes in his own health, he can able to observe. If the trial lasts severe days, he does this every day, so that everything is still fresh in his memory to question him about the nature of every one of these circumstances. If he is literate, he is quite intelligent, he can able to remember each and every change what happened. Okay, so he has to write every day what he is feeling, what the changes he feel in his health, some accidents regarding his health, and he can able to memorize that for several days. Okay, so literate prover is also a good choice. If the prover is illiterate, it is given in aphorism number 140. If the prover cannot write, the physician should inquire every day concerning the nature of the symptom and the manner of their appearance. If the patient is illiterate, he cannot able to write, then physician has to visit that prover every day. Then physician make a notes what he is feeling today, how he is feeling today, any change in his health. The physician must note down his sensation chiefly from voluntary narration without asking any leading question. See, physician just ask him what you are feeling now, but physician does not ask any leading question. Now what is this? Okay, so leading question means if physician asks to that prover, do you have headache today? Sometimes the illiterate prover got exaggerated their symptoms. Yes doctor, I am having headache. So this complete case got spoiled. So don't ask a leading question. You just ask how are you, how you feeling today. Okay, so in this manner you have to record their symptoms which they are spontaneously narrating you. Okay, that yeah, I'm feeling today good, but there is I'm having slight headache today, like that. Don't ask leading question that do you have any swelling on your leg today? Then the patient of course got exaggerated symptom. Yes doctor, so right from morning I'm having swelling on my leg. ओके, सो डोंट आस्क एनी लीडिंग क्वेश्चन. आपको लीडिंग क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछना है. आप अगर पेशेंट को पूछते हो आपके सर में दर्द है, तो कई बार जो है पेशेंट बोलता है हाँ हाँ मेरे सर में दर्द था. ऐसे लीडिंग क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछने हैं. स्पॉन्टेनियसली पेशेंट जो बताता है वही सिम्टम्स आपको रिकॉर्ड पर करने पड़ते हैं जब प्रूवर जो है वो इलिटरेट होता है. थर्ड वन इज फिजिशियन. इफ द फिजिशियन इज prover, it is given in aphorism number 141. When physician himself is prover, recording will be more accurate. Now physician is the best prover. Why? Okay, sometimes it is also asked in your short note, as a short note, why the physician is the best prover. Write in detail. Okay, so the physician knows with the greatest certainty the things he has experienced in his own person. See, certainty means the quality of the truth. Physician himself can maintain the quality of truth, the certainty. Okay, what he how he is feeling today, what changes are happening with him, he can write accurately. When the physician proves a medicine upon himself, then any uncertainty in respect of exact change in the health are entirely removed. Next thing, the medicinal qualities of all drug lie in the changes of health he has himself undergone from the medicine he has proved. He can able to observe the small changes in sensation, at emotional plane, at physical plane, in the mind. Next thing, by such self observation the physician will himself be trained to be what every physician do to be a good observer. Okay, physician can be good observer. Next one, the experiment on himself promises to give him a reliable knowledge of truth value. Okay, patient himself got a good knowledge. Well conducted drug proving never produce any injurious effect on health of the prover, and for that it is very essential that prover should be literate, or physician itself, physician himself is the prover. Okay, so these are some points. Okay, first one, to know about the to maintain the quality of truth regarding the symptoms. Okay, to know about the proper sensation changes in the physical level, in the mental level, emotional level. Okay, then next, these experiments on himself promise to give him a reliable knowledge of the true value, and well conducted drug proving never produce any injurious effect on health of the prover. These are some basic points. Next one is precaution to be taken during proving. Okay, now what it is given in aphorism number 122: the medicines to be proven must be well known, and its purity, genuineness, and energy are to be thoroughly assured. Okay, next one is aphorism number 123: it must be taken in perfectly simple, unadulterant form. Now, what do you mean by unadulterant? It pure. Okay, the adulterant means the impurities, and the unadulterant means pure. So, it must be taken in a perfectly simple and unadulterant form. You please, students, write the unadulterated or unadulterant. Okay, please don't write pure and impure, these words. Every medicinal substance must be taken quite alone and perfectly pure. It is given in aphorism number 124. Okay, take only one single simple medicine in a pure form. The next one, in aphorism number 131, the medicines must not be given for the several successive days in over increasing doses, as too frequent repetition confuses the symptom. So what does it mean? You have to wait till the action of first dose is completely over and then start the second dose. If you are prescribing first dose, then second dose, then third dose, then you get confused and unable to note the symptoms properly. Okay, and you got confused. Next, aphorism number 137: the administration of large doses of medicine should be avoided, as they bring out secondary reaction, but hurried appearance of primary symptoms unsuitable for study. Okay, if you are administering large dose, the primary symptoms disappear very soon, and you cannot able to note them or observe them. Okay, the primary symptoms is appear very fast and disappear soon, and then you got only the secondary symptoms. Okay, and being a physician, you have to note about the primary symptoms, secondary symptoms in a well manner, that you should know about the location, sensation, modalities of particular symptoms. Okay, so please don't prescribe a large dose, as it bring out the secondary reaction but hurried appearance of primary symptoms unsuitable for the study. Next thing is precaution to be taken during proving. Okay, regarding the prover. Now, regarding prover, the medicinal restrictions, what are the dietic restrictions and what are the mental restrictions. First one is medicinal restriction, and it is given in aphorism number 124. Those substances which have any medicinal property should not be taken on the same day, nor yet on the subsequent days, not during all the time. When you have to take only one single simple medicine, please don't take the second medicinal second drug or any second dose just after the after the next day of medicine, and don't repeat it unnecessarily. Okay, take only one single simple medicine and one dose, and then please observe the changes in the prover. Don't prescribe second dose, don't prescribe any other medicinal substances. Next one is about the dietic restriction. It is given in aphorism number 125. During the whole period of experiment, the diet of the prover must be strictly regulated. Means the nature of diet is nutritious and simple, and allowed them to take the young green peas, the green french beans, carrot. Don't allow to take the green vegetable, roots, all kind of the salads, herbs, soups, or any kind of these strong spices. Then about the beverages, the tea, coffee, alcohol must be avoided by the prover during the proving experiment. Next one is the mental restrictions. He must avoid all overexertions of mind and the body, all sort of dissipation and disturbing passion. Dissipation means disappearing, means he should not disappear from that experiment. He should concentrate himself on that symptoms. Okay, don't be over exhaust mentally or physically. Then he should have no urgent business to distract his attention. Okay, next one, he must devote himself to the careful self observation and not to be distributed while so engaged. And last one, he must possess sufficient amount of intelligence to be able to express and describe his sensation in a accurate terms, in a accurate way. Okay, this is all about the mental restrictions. Next one is, when can a medicine be considered to have been thoroughly proved? हम ये कब जज करेंगे कि अब ये जो है मेडिसिन कम्प्लीटली प्रूव हो चुकी है? ओके, द फर्स्ट थिंग, इट इज़ आई थिंक medicine can be considered to have been thoroughly proved in the conditions, some conditions, and that conditions is given in aphorism number 135. Okay, it is remaining, I had not mentioned over here, it is aphorism number 135. The conditions in which we can judge that the medicine is completely proved. The first thing, it must be proved on suitable person of both sexes and various constitution. If we prove the medicine on the both sexes and various constitution. Second condition, the symptoms as had already been observed by other are exhibited during the reproving. The medicines which you got, same medicines you are observing in the reproving of the drug, and no new symptoms is available. Then third one, the symptom most carefully recorded are complete with regard to its location, sensation, modalities. When the symptoms clinically verified and has no exhibited any clinical symptom even after repeating, means when you are not getting any new symptoms, the same symptoms are again and again come in front of you in the reproving, then you can definitely stop the drug proving. It will shows that you got all the symptoms related to that drug. Then relative demerits and merits of employing large and moderate doses. What happened if you prescribe the large dose or moderate dose? It is given in aphorism number 137. See, demerits, the toxic and poisonous effect of the drug may develop. Okay. Second thing, the primary action of medicine will appear in such hurried confusion and with such violence that nothing can be accurately observed. The primary symptom, the primary action of medicine will appear in such a hurried way that you confuse that whether it is homeopathic aggravation or it is the primary action or it is the secondary action, or I am giving the medicine, means medicine is acting in a harsh way. Okay, you cannot judge that. Okay, then the symptom of primary action will get mixed up with the secondary action. The symptom of primary action, secondary action got mixed. Then the drug produce the different types of symptoms in a different doses. Like in the large dose, the medicine produce their own chemical action. Sometimes in small doses, the medicine produce a generic action, which we can call as a common action also, which given symptoms common to all the members. In a very small doses, those produces a specific action which manifest the characteristic symptoms of the particular medicine. Okay, if you are giving large dose, is produce some chemical action. If you are giving in a small dose, it will give the common symptoms of that drug. And if you are giving in very small doses, then it shows some specific action which manifests the characteristic symptoms of that medicine. Okay, these are some relative demerits, merits. About the merits, okay, these are the demerits. About the merits, the symptom of primary action are more distinctly observed. Okay, the primary action is the primary action of drug observed more distinctly. The symptom of primary action occur without any admixture of the symptom of the secondary action or reaction of the vital force. Okay, the other sources beside the drug proving to know the curative property of drug proving is the only reliable source to know the curative properties of drug. But however, we can acquire knowledge about the drug to some extent through like its history, histories of poisoning, narcotics, its empirical sources, chemistry, biochemic, all this. Okay. Now, what do you mean by the history of poisoning? Okay. So, in history of poisoning, what we are getting? The symptom collected from the cases of poisoning has been of immense value. Those have great curative properties. Those are occupied in the materia medica as a clinical symptom. These give information about the sphere of action, chemical action, common symptoms of the drug. Okay, if you are taking the history of the poisoning, okay, the poisoning gives you so many kind of the characteristic symptoms, the chemical action, and so many kind of the common symptoms. Next one is empirical knowledge. See, empirical knowledge gave only superficial view and did not help in acquiring the complete rational knowledge about the curative power. See, empirical means what? The basic. Okay, so the basic knowledge gave only superficial view regarding that drug. Now about the chemistry. From the chemistry we got the general information about the authenticity, standardization and active principle of the drug. Okay, which is the active principle of opium. Okay, so in the chemical while you are studying about the chemical reaction of any drug, you got the its basic principle, the active principle of that drug. And next is about the biochemistry. It gives the information about the biochemical action of the drugs, which deals with the sphere of action of drug on one or two system of the organ. Okay, so here I am telling you about the study of drug according to its poisonous effect, its empirical knowledge, the chemistry regarding that drug, and its biochemistry also. Okay, so poisoning gives you the effect the poisoning gives you the characteristic effect of that drug. The empirical knowledge gave you the basic knowledge regarding that drug. The chemistry shows you the active principle of that drug, and the biochemistry shows you the effect of drug on one or two or all the systems. Okay, so these are some basic facts. So this is all about the drug proving. For the UG students, drug proving is asked up till now only. Okay, other than this I don't think so drug proving is covers any topic for UG students. So this is all about the drug proving. Okay, go through this lecture. It is very difficult to remember the exact aphorism number. Okay, so please try to remember it properly, and let me know if you are having any problem regarding the drug proving. Please message me, please come in the comment box. Please, if you are not understanding still any topic from the drug proving, please write in the comment box. I will definitely going to assure you I am there going to explain you it again and again. Okay, I hope you like this video. Thank you very much.